Hello everyone and welcome to the Build at Scale Lab. This will be our first video covering programming in TM Flow. In this video we will cover how to connect to the robot and the differences between manual and auto modes. Techman robots have two modes. The first one is manual mode. Manual mode is what you will use to program the robot. You can tell that the robot is in manual mode because of the green light at the end of the robot arm. Being in manual mode is what allows you to edit programs on the robot. It's also in this mode that you can freely move the robot around by pressing this button. This is known as FreeBot motion. The only way to run a program in manual mode is by using the robot stick, holding down the deadman switch, and hitting the play button. In manual mode, the programs will run really slowly. It's also important to note that if I let go of the deadman switch while the program is running, the robot will stop, and in order to resume it, I have to hold the deadman switch back down and hit the play button. This is one of the limitations of the manual mode. Auto mode is for when you're done programming the robot and you're ready to run the program in production. You can tell that the robot is in auto mode by the white lights at the end of the robot arm. In auto mode, you'll remotely send commands to the robot to load and start your projects. Once a program is proven out in manual mode, you can start running it at much higher speeds in auto mode, so long as proper safety precautions are taken. Also, when in auto mode, it's extremely important to remember to keep your distance from the robot and be aware of your surroundings, because at any moment, someone may start a program on the robot. In order to change the mode that the robot is running in, press and hold the M/A button on the control stick until it starts flashing. Then type in the password, which is plus, minus, plus, plus, minus. Hit the M/A button one more time to send the password, then one last time to confirm that you do want to change modes. Now I'm in manual mode. To go back into auto, it's the exact same procedure. Holding down M/A, plus, minus, plus, plus, minus, M/A to send the password, and one more time to confirm. Now I'm back in auto mode. So right now I've got the robot in auto mode. However, if I try to control it remotely, it won't work. And that is because I don't have remote auto mode enabled. Even though it's in auto mode, remote auto mode is not enabled. And you can tell that it's not enabled because of this green S on the controller. So I need to disable this before it will take commands remotely. So in order to do this, I will do the very similar procedure to changing between manual and auto, except for this time, I'll be holding down the pause button. So I'll press and hold the pause button until it starts blinking, and then the same thing, plus, minus, plus, plus, minus, send the password, and then one more time to confirm. Great, now the light has gone out. You can see we're still in auto mode because of the white ring around the end of the robot. But now, when I press this button, the program can execute. So once I have remote auto mode enabled, and that little S has disappeared, you'll notice that actually all of the buttons on the controller no longer work. The exception to that being the E-stop. The E-stop will always work, so if the robot is doing something you don't want it to in remote auto mode, do not hesitate to E-stop. It will not hurt the robot, and it is absolutely appropriate to do so if the robot is making any unplanned moves. Now, in order to get out of this remote auto mode and return to standard auto mode, it's the exact same procedure. I'll just press and hold the pause button until it starts flashing, plus, minus, plus, plus, minus, pause, one more time, and now we're back in regular auto mode. And these buttons will actually work, so I can actually play programs using just the play button here. And stop them. And if I want to reset now back to manual mode, And now we're back into manual mode. Techman robots are programmed through a software called TM-Flow. TM-Flow runs on the controller box on the robot. And to access it, you can plug a monitor and mouse and keyboard straight into the controller box to access the TM-Flow instance that's running on there. However, as you can imagine, in a lot of instances, this is extremely inconvenient, which is why I have TM-Flow installed on my laptop. So I can actually connect my laptop to the robot controller instead of having to plug a mouse, monitor, and keyboard into the controller directly. I can have a TM-Flow client running on my laptop and then take control of the robot remotely. Now, one caveat to this is that I need to make sure that the TM-Flow instance that I have running on my laptop is the exact same software version as the one on the controller, or you'll run into a whole lot of issues. So check the software version to make sure the instance that you download on your laptop is the same one as the one running on the controller. The controller is running TM-Flow 2.16, and so I've installed TM-Flow 2.16 on this laptop, and I can control the robot from here. All right, so I'm going to open up TM-Flow on my laptop. When it launches, it's going to ask you what type of virtual robot you want to use for the simulator. Just go ahead and click the TM12SX, and TM-Flow should boot. And from here, I'll record my screen. Once you have launched TM-Flow, it will automatically scan your network to try and find Techman robots. So it immediately found our Techman robot here, our TM12S, at 192.168.4.136. Now, if your TM-Flow instance does not find your robot, I would recommend you first try refreshing the page with this renew button up here in the top right. And if that doesn't work, verify that you are indeed on the same network as the robot itself. So if the robot is on a network and you are signed into a different Wi-Fi network, for example, you will not be able to find the robot. Now, before I do anything else, I'll need to sign in. So I'm going to go to the top left hamburger menu and click Login. It'll prompt me for my credentials. The username is, by default, administrator, and there is no password. So I'll just go ahead and click OK. One thing to note is that you can only have one person signed into an account on TM-Flow at a given time. So if I have signed into the administrator account on the control box and then I open up this instance on my laptop, things will not work properly. So make sure that you have signed out of all the instances of administrator before trying to sign in as administrator on a different TM-Flow instance. Next, I am going to need to connect to the robot. So because I've already connected to this robot before on this TM-Flow instance, you can see there's this Get Control button that has this blue outline. The first time that you boot up your TM-Flow instance, you won't have this, and it'll look like this gray one here. So to fix that, you're just going to have to hit this copy button. It will bring it up here, and then just hit connect. It'll again prompt you for your credentials. Just hit OK. And if you didn't see it before, you should now see this blue Get Control icon. Getting control of a robot means that I have control of it and no one else does. And that means that I can program the robot and send commands to the robot. And if anyone else tries to, they'll get an error. So in order to program the robot, you have to get control, make your changes, and then release control. And unless I release control, no one else will be able to sign in with their TM-Flow instance. Now that I've signed in, I've connected to the robot, I can get control. Once I have control, I can open this menu and see all the options available to me. I can go back to this Connect page, which is where we're at. I can go to the View tab and look at the current state of the robot. But if I try and open up the Project tab, which is where we will actually program the robot, I'm going to get an error. And that is because I currently have the robot in auto mode. And we can't program the robot when it's in auto mode. So I'm going to go change it back into manual. All right, so I have put the robot back in manual mode, close out of the error, and then now when I try and launch the project tab, it lets me. From here, I can click File, and then I can open projects to edit them, and I can even create new projects. This is where we will pick up in the next video. So thank you for watching.